That which we do not receive as children, we will seek out as adults. In today's video, I'm going to share with you every morning you put on the face of a man, but in the moments that count most, you become a 7-year-old boy. The work in changing your identity is really that of going back into your past. The identity that you are portraying, that you are embodying, and that you are expressing in your reality today is the sum total of all of the memories and the experiences of your past. And in order for you to embody and to transform your identity into your ideal identity, you must resolve all of the lessons, the traumas, and everything that you're still holding on to from the past. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through understanding that at a deeper level, so that you can realize that you chose your childhood. Not to get religious or anything like that, but I believe personally, and I'm not religious, I'm not affiliated with any sort of religion, but I definitely believe that we, as the creator of our reality, when we were in the non-physical infinite realm, we knew exactly what we were getting into. We knew that by being born to our specific parents, we were going to learn certain lessons that we needed to learn, that our spirit or our higher selves needed to learn at our particular stage of evolution. So we knew what we were getting into. So if you were born into a single family household, or perhaps a household with a lot of trauma or a lot of, energy, let's just call it, energy and experience, you chose it because it contained within it all of the lessons that you need in order for your higher self, or what I would call your God self, to evolve to its next level. And so most people right now, most men especially, because that's my audience, that's who I'm talking to, is most men are still inside, they're still that wounded boy. So it doesn't matter how much money you make, how many material possessions you achieve and that you obtain. It doesn't matter how many women you're with, none of that matters. If you're still the hurt little boy who didn't receive love and affection and protection and validation, then you are still seeking it out. You're still trying to fill that empty void that you feel inside. And only until you get radically honest and transparent with yourself to say, wow, I am still holding on to this. I am still carrying this with me. And I need to go and do that work. You're going to keep trying to drown it out with substances and with material possessions. And listen, I believe wholeheartedly that you can have your cake and eat it too. Like, I like nice things. I like cars. I like experiencing that stuff. I love traveling, going on adventures. I love good food and good drinks and hanging out with good people. I love that stuff. But at the same time, like, I'm here to do my work. And I've been doing my work personally for 20 years. And a lot of things I'm going to share with you in this video, I've gone through. I had, issues, and I had discord with my dad, in my early 20s, back when I first got on my journey. And man, I've healed that stuff. Me and my dad, we're best friends now. I love him so dang much. Where, man, I had a lot of bottled up anger and resentment towards him back in my teens and my early 20s, man. I really did. So I think that this is such an important lesson, for men in this day and age to learn, because in order for us to harbor the new earth, let's call it, for our sons and daughters, the future generations, we need to learn the lessons of our past. We need to break the chains, and we need to heal our ancestral karma. But anyways, Let's move it. So this is the wounded boy. The 4 moves every man must make to end the boy's reign and step into his full power. The problem is not that you don't know what to do. The problem is that the man who needs to do it is still not in control. Behind every high-performing man who keeps sabotaging his relationships, losing his frame under pressure, and operating from fear disguised as strength, fear or pain, sadness, there is a wounded boy who never got what he needed. And until that boy is acknowledged, separated from, and properly held, he will continue to run the show. This is the depth of work that is missing from most men's personal development. You can do all the right things, the disciplines, the routines, the mindset work, and still have a frightened, reactive 7-year-old making the decisions that matter most. What follows are the 4 moves. They are sequential. Each one builds the capacity for the next. And if you're honest with yourself, as you move through them, they will produce a shift that no amount of surface level habit can work. No matter the amount of surface level habit work can match. Because if you do not heal your wounded boy, you will create a wounded boy. You know, I think about a friend that I have who's done quite well. He's been quite successful materially, financially. And, you know, I know a bit about his story. And he had an absentee father. He was raised primarily by his mother. And his mother, based on his experience, you know, she had some mental issues. And so there was a lot of trauma, a lot of mental and emotional abuse in his childhood. And so as a result of that, you know, he's gone out and he's created a lot of financial success. Because as men, we believe that, hey, if we go out and we create financial success, that means I am good enough. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am lovable. But at the expense of what? My friend, he probably spends 6 to 9 months away from his son. It's a very valuable time that a boy needs in his life. And so, you know, yes, you might be accomplishing things, but at the end of the day, at what cost? So these are the 4 moves, the complete path from wounded boy to initiated man. Step number 1, unblend. Separate the boy. Separate from the boy. Number 1, you've got to realize that that boy is still within you. You're still operating from that. So you've got to see at what situations trigger or bring out that little boy. Witness him, hold him, stop becoming him. The only reason why you're becoming him is because there are still things that you haven't learned from your childhood. You're just masking them. You're just distracting yourself from them. You're just trying to numb yourself from them. Number 2, probably the hardest, grieve the hurt. Feel the damage the boy caused. Don't skip to forgiveness. Receive the lesson. I think, again, in the time that we live in, it's so important to understand that we did not come here to make money, we did not come here to eat, drink, and be merry. We came here to learn very valuable spiritual lessons for the evolution of our higher self. Call it the spirit, call it whatever you want, but we came here to learn lessons. And if you do not learn those lessons, they will continue to repeat. And each time they repeat, they will come with a consequence. Meaning that you're going to keep getting hit in the face until you wake up and realize, oh my gosh, I need to learn that lesson. Okay, number 3 is heal the family system. Mother and father wounds are the blueprint. Separate from the system. Rewire the map. Like I said, I personally believe that we chose. Let me back up. Okay, let me give you one of my fundamental beliefs about our reality. Our reality, I called the simulation. It is so perfectly organized that if even the smallest, most minuscule, undetectable detail was out of sync, none of it would exist. It is unfolding more perfectly than our finite minds could ever begin to understand. And if you look back over your past, you can see that everything has unfolded perfectly to get to where you are right here and now watching this video. So that would lead me to believe that wherever I was before I came here, it's part of this perfection. So that means that I chose my parents because I already knew how it would all unfold. Because remember, in that unconscious mental plane, there is no time. Time only exists in the third dimension. Time and space. Okay, so we're just experiencing reality unfold and we're just tracking what we would call time. Time is a construct that governs this dimension. But in higher dimensions from which we came, time does not exist. So I again believe that the future's already happened. Like let's consider this. The end of this video has already happened in the future. I'm just actually playing it out frame by frame, and you're witnessing it frame by frame. It's already ended. When it ends, I'm going to go hang out with my son. So it's already happened. The future's already happened. Now, yes, there may be potential many different paths that you can take that all lead to this. All roads lead to Rome, they say. Some take longer than others. Some are dead ends that you have to take and then realize, oh, dang it, I took the wrong turn at Albuquerque. I need to turn around and get back on the right track. So if you understand that, man, life sure flows a lot easier. And then when you understand the perfection of it all, you can realize, oh, I chose my mom and dad, knowing that I was going to go through what I went through, because there are valuable, priceless lessons in that experience called childhood, that if I can learn from and evolve as a result of my life, I will become unstoppable. I will become more righteous. I will become more godlike. And then number 4, build a brotherhood. Okay? Environment beats willpower. Get around initiated men. Circle determines your ceiling. They say that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend time with. So look at your friends, your weight, your income, your relationship, your spiritual connection. All of those are going to be the sum total of the people you spend time with. So make sure that you're spending time with the right people. Okay, part 1, the unblending. You cannot heal what you cannot separate from. Inside every man who struggles with emotional reactivity, who shuts down under pressure, who cannot sustain intimacy without anxiety, there is a younger version of him that he has never been separated from. In internal family systems therapy, this is called blending. When the wounded boy within you is triggered, he does not tap you on the shoulder. He moves in front of you completely, like an eclipse. The sun is the man, the moon is the boy. In full eclipse, You cannot tell what is what. They become one. Think about, a total eclipse of the sun. When the moon passes in front of the sun for a moment, they become one. You cannot differentiate the two. Remember, that little boy is still living within you. If you do not heal the wounded boy, he will come to the surface and he will express himself in moments when he's triggered. And in that moment of blending, the man disappears. The boy is now in control. He is the one responding to your partner, making decisions under pressure, interpreting how much love is safe to receive. And he is doing it from the emotional age of the last time his developmental needs were met, which for most men is somewhere between 5 and 12 years old. This is what is called implicit memory, the body's emotional memory. It operates on no timeline. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between the 40-year-old man you are today and the boy who felt abandoned every time his father came home distracted, or the boy who learned that love always comes with unpredictability or with accomplishment or with abuse. The moment the body recognizes a familiar emotional pattern, it triggers age regression in an instant. You regress into the consciousness, the psychology, and the emotional capacity of that little boy. So here's an illustration. Okay, so this is you. This is your ideal self, the ideal man that you aspire to be. And this is the wounded boy. Okay, so when the boy moves in front of the man, and you can no longer tell the difference. The boy does not ask permission. He moves in front and you become him for that moment. So whether it's, when you're at work and you feel frustrated or something happened, a pattern that you run that is unconscious, and that after you run it, you think, man, I didn't want to do that. That's not me. That's out of my character. Remember, the character that you're trying to portray is your higher self. When you do something that's out of character, that's oftentimes a trigger, a response when the boy steps into place. Okay, the unblended practice. The unblending begins with a single shift in language, and it is more powerful than it sounds. When you notice an emotion arising, the blended response is to become it. I am angry. I am lonely. I am afraid. The moment you say, I am, in front of an emotion, you have merged with it. The eclipse is complete. The unblended response is to witness it. What's going on? What's triggering you? Let's say you're with your girl, or you're with a business partner or a business associate, and you get triggered. The example is, let's say you're with your girl and she pulls out her phone and she starts texting someone. You feel something inside, you feel some type of way, and you feel insecure and you're like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just texting a friend. Okay, well, what that is, that's triggering. If you're feeling that feeling and then you're like, let me see your phone, or you grab something or it starts a fight, something like that, what it's doing, it's bringing up the fear of abandonment, the fear of pain, perhaps that you've experienced those things in the past. I know I have. I know back, when I was in my 20s, so 20 years ago, man, I had a girl that, I would get triggered by that stuff for sure. And it all triggers back. And so because I've done this work, it's like, listen, man, I don't care. I know my worth. I know who I am at this point. So again, it's, hey, healing that stuff. But first, you've got to witness it. You've got to experience it. And in that moment between feeling the emotion and reacting to it, there is a period of time. And that's what you must master, is that period of time between reaction and inner response. Thinking, oh, here it is. Here's the wounded boy that feels abandoned, He's afraid of being hurt, so on and so forth. You've got to recognize it and give it a name. I notice there is a part of me that is angry. I notice there is a part of me that is feeling lonely. That single sentence, spoken with genuine curiosity, shifts you from being the emotion to holding it. Because when you are something, I am angry, I am feeling jealous, because jealous, the root of jealousy is I'm not good enough. Because if I'm more than good enough, hey, if you're texting another guy and you want to be with another guy, no big deal. Just let me know. And if I find out, then hey, I'm going to kick you to the curb. Because I know my value. I know I'm good enough. I am worthy. I am valuable. I'm the fucking man. I'm the right woman's ideal king. And if that's not for you, if you don't see that in me, then hey, no big deal. No big deal. Let's move on as quickly as possible. I'm not here to waste my time, and I'm not here to waste yours. And your actions show me your character. But when you say, I am this, and then I am also comes with an action. That's why we want to master that period between feeling the feeling and reacting to it. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Responding would be the new sentence. I'm feeling angry. Where does this anger come from? Do I have unresolved trauma from the past? Unresolved feelings of sadness, unresolved feelings of abandonment, times when I've been hurt that I haven't healed from. The goal is not to eliminate parts, but to help them release their burdens. Richard Schwartz, founder of Internal Family Systems Therapy. The goal is not to get rid of the boy. The more you push him away, the harder he pushes back. Remember, you cannot suppress. You have to do this work. If you truly want to be your highest self, you really want to tap into your potential, you have to do this work. There's no avoiding it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Then you realize that these emotions, they're actually a gift. They're trying to teach you something. They're trying to uncover something, a blind spot that you have become unaware of. The goal is to separate from him, step out of the eclipse, and then turn toward him as the man, to witness him, to hold the space for him, to bring the love and presence he never received to the part of you that has been carrying that wound ever since. Like I said, I have many from 15 years old, my very first girlfriend, until probably 25 years old. Those girlfriends caused in that period of my life, a lot of pain. But I've done the work. I've talked to them and released that energy. Where now it's like, I appreciate that. I see that boy needed to go through that pain and that heartache for his development, but I'm not carrying that shit anymore. I'm healed. I know my worth. I know my value. I am valuable. So now I am the sun. And the moon is always there, but I love and nurture that moon. And if something does arise, I'm welcoming it. Okay, to witness him, to hold the space for him, to bring the love and presence he never received to the part of you. So again, like I'm saying, is learning to love you. Once you know how to truly generate real self-love, real appreciation for yourself, where you look in the mirror and you can truly say, I'm proud of you. Or the better example that I give is, if you knew, and some people do, so I know that they would be a testament to this, is I don't know of any father and son who have a more loving, caring, harmonious relationship than me and my son. And the amount of love that I have for him, the amount of how proud I am of the little boy, the young man, and the man that he's coming into. It's overwhelming. And that comes from the fact that I can look in myself in the mirror and I have the same amount of love for myself. So my cup overfloweth. And so it overflows onto him. And it overflows on all the other people who are the closest to me. Okay. What you resist will persist. Like I said, that which we do not receive as children, we will seek out as adults. All a child wants is love, safety, validation, appreciation, affection. That's all a child wants and needs. That's the foundation of your identity. The boy does not need to be eliminated. He needs to be held by you. That is the re-parenting. You must become your own father. That is where the deep grieving begins and where the eclipse finally breaks. You know, I know you can't see it, but right here, you can see it a bit in that screen. Those are pictures of me as a little boy. I have a whole collage that my beautiful mother made me. And I have pictures of me as a little boy up on my fridge. I have a very pivotal picture of me when I played t-ball right there. I keep these pictures of me so that, man, I can send that little boy love. As I'm making this video right now, my heart, I feel the energy in my heart sending that little boy love. I love him so much. I love him as much as I love my little boy. The unblending protocol, the shift from being an emotion to witnessing it. 2 sentences that change everything. Remember, blended means that you're not separate. The little boy comes in, the man comes out. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, I am angry. The emotion is you. The boy has taken over. Little boys get angry and throw fits and throw tantrums and throw their toys and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore and shit like that, right? The nervous system floods with cortisol, adrenaline. Okay, reaction, not response. So you react like a knee-jerk reaction, especially to anger, jealousy, rage. No access to the man, and identity lost in the state. The eclipse is complete. Unblended is I notice a part of me that is angry. Hey, little guy, I know you're being triggered right now. I know the 15-year-old you. I know the 12-year-old you. I know that part of you is being triggered right now. I witnessed that. In your mind, you're sitting next to your girl and she's talking to someone. You don't even know who it is. And in your mind, you're just flipping out. You know, steam coming out your ears. You're being triggered. In your mind, that's when you say, ooh, I notice, I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling angry. Not I am angry. I notice that a part of me is angry right now. Hey, little guy, I know that you're trying to come out and play. You witness the emotion. The man holds the boy. The nervous system regulates. Again, you could tell her, hey, I got to go take a dump real quick. You know? Hey, I got to go check the mail. I got to do something real quick. Go out, take 10 deep breaths. Separate from the experience so you can go and hold the boy. Talk to him, love him, regulate your nervous system. Respond, not react. That's what a man would do. Now you have full access to the man. Curiosity replaces control. Say it out loud right now. I notice there is a part of me that is feeling blank. You say it inside. Memorize that. So if you're the type of man who is at this stage in your development, you do not have very good emotional control. You get triggered easily. You're pissed off. You're irritated. You're jealous. You're insecure. You feel inferior to others. That's the little boy. Get used to those emotions. Acknowledge, hey, I've got some work to do. That's what they are: inferiority, insecurity, jealousy, fear, sadness, anger, rage, resentment. It's just a little boy. Just a little boy. Okay, part 2, grieving the hurt you caused. You cannot learn the lesson until you have felt the grief of it. Once a man begins to separate from the wounded boy, to see the boy clearly for the first time as something distinct from himself, something uncomfortable becomes visible. The damage the boy has caused. How many times have you ruined relationships or said things that can't be taken back only to regret them after they come out of your mouth? The passive aggression, the manipulation, the constant need for reassurance that drained the people around him. Man, I was like that in my early 20s. Dang, that one. The emotional weight of his unresolved wounds placed on every partner, every relationship, every business he has touched. The man who was operating from fear disguised as control. Dang, that one just hit for sure. The man who needed love so badly that he repelled it. Most men at this moment want to rush to forgiveness. They want to skip the grief and say, I understand why I did it, and move forward. But skipping the grief is bypassing the lesson. And bypassing a lesson does not disappear. It repels, or it repeats. There is a profound depth that is accessed when a man allows himself to feel, genuinely feel, the shame, the guilt, and the grief of the hurt he has caused from operating as an uninitiated boy in the world. Not shame as self-punishment, not guilt as a form of identity collapse, but the clean grief of a man who can see clearly what happened, acknowledge the full weight of it, and allow that acknowledgement to land. Your actions have consequences. The way you show up, your energy, your behavior, your unresolved wounds, they have a cost. Until a man can feel that cost fully, he has not received the gift the experience was carrying. He will repeat the pattern with a different face on it. This is not about dwelling in shame. It is about completing the cycle so that the lesson becomes permanent. A man who has genuinely grieved what his wounded boy has cost him carries a different quality of presence. Grounded, secure, lovable, kind, fun, funny, open. A different level of accountability, a different standard for who he is willing to be. That is the gift inside the grief. If he is willing to stay with it long enough to receive it. The depth that a man reaches inside himself is the depth that the people around him will feel. Remember, the work you do at this level spills over onto the people you say you love the most. Part 3, heal the family system. Your mother and father are the blueprint, and that blueprint is running your relationships, I would say running your life right now. Before you were old enough to choose, your subconscious was receiving its first and most foundational programming, the relationship between you and your mother and father. That relationship, with all its warmth, its failures, its wounds, and its patterns, became the blueprint for what relationship means. Not consciously, not intellectually, in the body, in the implicit memory, so that the moment you open your heart to another person as an adult, your subconscious is not actually responding to that person. It is responding to the blueprint. Your partner says something that triggers a sense of being deprioritized, and you are not seeing your partner. You are seeing your father working 15 hours a day, unavailable, always somewhere else. Your partner pulls back emotionally, and you feel a wave of panic. And that panic is not about your partner. That is the boy who learned that love disappears without warning. This is the mechanism. Implicit memory plus unresolved family wounds equals a man who cannot see the relationship in front of him clearly. He is always seeing the original relationship. He is always responding to the original wound. And until those wounds are brought to the surface, acknowledged, grieved, and worked through, the blueprint runs the show. We cannot create healthy intimacy if we are still controlled by the wounds of our family of origin. John Bradshaw. So again, consider this, especially when you're a child. Before the age of reason, when you're a toddler and you are an adolescent, you're learning about reality. You're learning about relationships. You're learning about money. You're learning about spirituality. You're learning about religion. You're learning about how life works by osmosis through your environment. So if your parents fought all the time, you're going to learn that relationships equal fighting. If you grew up in a single family household and your dad wasn't around or your mom wasn't around, you're going to learn that blank. You're going to learn that families are absent, families are broken up, or whatever you heard, whether it be about money, relationships, so on and so forth. A pattern, a paradigm, your foundational programming was set at this pivotal time in your life. But remember, it always goes back to you can either choose to be the victim of your life or the creator of your life. The creator looks back and says, okay, I chose this. What lessons, what do I need to learn from those experiences for me to be the very best version of myself? To heal that boy. So your relationship with your mother and father are the blueprint, the pattern your subconscious uses for all intimacy. And I go even further than that. Not just intimacy, but money, everything. Okay, this map programs who you trust, how much love you allow, how you read a partner, what triggers age regression, your ceiling for intimacy. Until you separate from the system, you play the same role in every relationship that you played here. So again, oftentimes you get out of a relationship, if you don't do the healing, you're going to attract the same relationship, just in a different form. Same triggers, same everything, because you didn't do the work. The pattern continues to play out, repeat itself until you change. You can't go from, what do they say? Wherever you go, there you are. If you get out of a relationship and you get right into another relationship, you're just taking yourself with you. It's going to reflect itself. The family system exercise. Take a piece of paper, draw a large circle. This is the map of your family system, the blueprint in your subconscious. Inside the circle, draw a small circle to represent yourself. Place it wherever it feels like you belong. Now close your eyes. Feel where your mother goes in this map. Draw her and draw an arrow showing which direction she is facing. Do the same for your father. Notice which direction he is facing in relation to you. Add siblings if they were a part of the system. Now look at what you drew. Notice how it feels to be in this position. What role have you been playing in this family system your entire life? What does the position of your mother and father tell you about the beliefs you formed about love, safety, and worth? You did not draw what you were told to draw. You drew the map that lives in your subconscious. That map is what your mind is using to navigate every relationship you are in right now. Until you separate from it, you will keep playing the same role with different people in different circumstances for the rest of your life. The principle that opened part 1 applies here in full. You cannot heal what you cannot separate from. Until a man separates from the family system, sees it clearly from the outside, grieves the wounds he experienced within it, and where necessary, has the conversations that need to happen, he remains inside that map, subject to its rules, bound by its roles, playing the part of the little boy. So again, it's very important. Part 4, build brotherhood. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Choose it deliberately. The final move is the one most men underestimate because it does not feel like inner work. It feels like a social preference. It is not. It is structural. There is a profound difference between spending time with the boys and investing time with initiated men. Read that again. There is a profound difference between spending time with the boys and investing time with initiated men. The boys, by which this lesson means men who are still operating primarily from boy consciousness, whose lives revolve around entertainment, avoidance, and the validation of each other's limitations, will pull a man back to his lowest level. Not through malice, through the environment. I mean, it's just so profound. So profound. I think about this often is, men who are still hanging out around the same boys that they were friends with in junior high and high school, that just tells me that they're still tethered. They haven't outgrown that stage of development. If that's their greatest circle of influence, then they're still tethered to the past. And then again, hey, listen, by all means, if they've all been initiated and they're all men of virtue, they're all men of righteousness, they're all men who are seeking affluence, opulence, honor, then that's one thing. But if they're just going out, and again, just like it says here, they are trying to escape their marriage, or what's worse is to me, I think if I have a friend who's speaking poorly about his wife, always bitching and complaining about his wife, or even worse, cheats on his wife in any way, shape, or form, I can't hang out with that. I can't be around that. That's to me is it's dishonorable. That's a man who doesn't have honor, doesn't have respect, and can't keep a commitment. Because when you're married, you've made a blood oath. So now, by all means, if there is an agreement within the relationship where, hey, it's a poly relationship or whatever, to each their own. I accept anyone in every way. Then that's one thing. If the wife knows, but if you're keeping secrets behind her back, who's your life partner, who you're building a family with and having children with, and you're keeping secrets and you're doing things that are unrighteous and dishonorable, then that shows me a lot about that man's character. That's why it says it's so important. Or, gamblers, alcoholics, drug abusers, things of that nature. Hey, those aren't the type of men that I personally want to be with. An initiated man is a man who has made the journey from boy to man deliberately. His life is organized around mission, family, purpose, service, and connection to something greater than himself. He is accountable. He operates from his truth. He does not validate excuses. And when you spend time with men like this, invest in being around them, in being challenged by them. Something happens that no amount of solo inner work can replicate. Their standard becomes your environment, and your environment will always outlast your willpower. Just another thing, I'm just so grateful for my son because, I'm so inspired to be the very best version of me that I can be, to be an example to him. If you run with the eagles, you will soar. But if you run with the turkeys, you will never leave the ground. Excuse me. Les Brown. This is why community is not a bonus, it is a requirement. A man working on himself in isolation will hit a ceiling that cannot be broken from the inside. The right brotherhood, initiated by men who are doing the inner work, who hold a standard, who will tell him the truth, accelerates the transformation from the first three moves in ways that are not possible alone. This is why the quality of the brotherhood matters more than the size of it. One man who has walked the path, who will hold you to your truth and not your comfort, is worth more than 100 who will sympathize with your excuses. So boys versus initiated men. And you hear it all the time. Saturdays are for the boys. Going out with the boys. It's very interesting, right? Boys hang out. Just passing time, wasting time. Talk about other people. Avoid discomfort together. Validate each other's excuses. Normalize mediocrity or the level, the status quo of the group. No accountability, no standards. Environment pulls you down. You become the average of this. Versus initiated men. On a mission, in service to one another, to their community, to their family. Talks about vision and growth. Sits in discomfort together. Holds each other to a higher standard. Normalizes excellence. Accountability without shame. Environment pulls you up. Remember that quote again. If you run with turkeys, you'll soar. If you run with if you run with eagles, you'll soar. If you run with turkeys, you'll never leave the ground. And finally, the work. This is where it begins, not where it ends. These 4 moves are not a checklist to be completed. They are a practice that deepens over time. A man does not unblend once and declare himself healed. He builds the capacity to catch the eclipse earlier and earlier and earlier, to return to himself faster, to hold the boy with increasing skill and love. He does not grieve the hurt he caused once and move on. he develops the standards of a man who feels the weight of his impact before he causes it, not only after. He does not heal the family system in a single session. He returns to the blueprint again and again as new relationships reveal new layers of the wounded original. And he does not build brotherhood by attending one gathering. He makes the sustained investment in the men around him, in being around the right men, in contributing to a community that is serious about the journey from boy to man. The boy ran your life without your permission. The man takes it back with intention. Continue the work. Everything in this lesson points to one truth. This work cannot be done alone, and it cannot be done at the surface. It requires depth, consistency, and the right environment. If you'd like to get more information like this and plug in, I've created a free school community. You can check it out at school.com/01man. If you'd like to check out my audio recordings, my subconscious identity reprogramming technology, you can check those out at masculine.identity.com. Links are in the description. That is it for this lesson. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.